Success ain't a magic
hardship, but my father had gone on to make a great difference with his life, to set a new standard, to bring his family into abundance. The difference was one man held his cup, my father got rid of his cup. One man lowered his expectations to match his environment. He lived with excuses, settled for the status quo. He was a good man, but he was just hoping for a few coins. He stayed stuck where he was. It's interesting that God didn't love my father any more than he loved that man. It wasn't God holding him back. It was his cup. It was an old wineskin. He couldn't see the new things that God had in store. When your vision is limited, your life will be limited. It's amazing what happens when you get rid of your cup, when you enlarge your vision, when you believe big, when you pray bold prayers, when you dream great dreams. God said in Psalms, open your mouth wide and I will fill it. Are you asking for coins so you can survive when God is wanting to give you new legs so you can run? Why don't you get rid of that cup? You're not limited by how you were raised, by what didn't work out. If that was going to stop your purpose, God wouldn't have allowed it. It's a test. Are you going to settle for the cup? Live with a limited mentality? Or are you going to do like my father? Get rid of that cup and believe for the greatness God put in you. You can still become all God's created you to be. When you're in agreement with God, He'll make things happen that you couldn't make happen. He'll open doors you couldn't open. He'll cause opportunity, good breaks, the right people to come looking for you. 2 Kings, there's the story of a widow. Her husband has died. She's run out of funds to pay her bills. Now the creditors are coming to take her sons as payment. All she has of any value is a small jar of oil. Elisha the prophet came by and told her to go to her neighbors and borrow as many empty containers as she could find. He specifically said, borrow not a few. Get as many as you can. She went out and gathered maybe a dozen containers and came back. Elisha told her to take the little oil that she had and pour it into one of the empty containers. Didn't make sense, but she did it. She filled up the first container, then another and another and another. The oil never ran out until she finished filling up all the containers. She went out and sold the oil, had plenty to pay her debts. The key phrase in this story is borrow not a few. She determined how much oil she was going to have. The oil only ran out when she didn't have any more containers. That's why God told her, borrow not a few. If she had borrowed twice as many containers, she would have had twice as much oil. What if she had said, Elisha, I've got this cup. Let's just use it. She'd only had a cup full of oil. God was showing us this principle. If you'll open your mouth wide, He will fill it. He has an unlimited supply. And too often, because of disappointments, delays, things that haven't worked out, we've watered down our dreams. We've lowered our expectations. We're not stretching, believing for great things, believing to get well. God has the oil, but we don't have the containers. He's saying to you what He said to this woman, borrow not a few.